Welcome to Snakee's World of the Bizarre, a show where host Snakee Moore takes you to the most freakish places in the world. In this episode, he journeys to a strange labyrinth in an 18th century garden.
All my life, I've been fascinated by one form of landscaping, the maze. I've done hours and hours, days, minutes, maybe seconds of research. I've discovered that mazes exist across the world, like the labyrinth of the Minotaur, corn mazes, Maze the Corn, and maybe some others. Miss Pac-Man Maze is a maze I know well. However, it is my personal favorite. That honor would fall to the Hedge Maze in Colonial Williamsburg in the gardens of the Governor's Palace. The maze I'm talking about in Colonial Williamsburg isn't most unique. It was originally based on one in England. I'll hand it over to Walter's Diddy, a correspondent in the UK and expert on all things Britishes.
Tally-ho, old boy. I'm from England. The Hampton Court Maze was built in the late 1600s for King William back in merry old London town, though it may have been built to replace one what was made even longer ago, maybe for King Henry VIII. He used to live in this palace and play sports like tennis there. You think that's a joke, but it's true. You can look it up. Pip pip and all that rot. It's a right good maze, old boy. The hedges is made of a yew nowadays, but it used to be made of hornbeams. The goal of this maze is to get to the center, but that ain't easy unless you've got a proper know-how. Once you get there, old boy, you can rest on some benches under the shade of some trees. Right-o! After that, you can exit out of the gate and go walk around the gardens. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say, Snakee. Cheerio, old boy, and all that rut. Tip, pip, pip. Tally-ho!
Thanks for that great info, Walter's Diddy. When Williamsburg was being restored to its colonial estate, the palace in which the royal governor lived was reconstructed. The original building burned down in 1781, but the public could revisit it in 1934 when the renovated palace opened, complete with its own set of gardens. Arthur A. Shercliffe, a landscape architect, worked in designing the landscaping. He wasn't always super accurate, but he did a good job. And of course, the garden included a fabulous maze planted in 1935. It was constructed after the Hampton Court Maze that Walter's Diddy just told us about. Unfortunately, my research team hasn't found much else about the early days of the maze. I think it was probably classified by the government because they don't want anybody to know how to, stuff. The maze originally had trees in the center, I do know that, but they were cut down. Probably for firewood or making some toys or, something like that. I heard there was some other bizarre stuff inside, like peacocks. And it's these strange flares that make this maze the most famous hedge maze in America. In 1946, the first official world record for completing the Williamsburg maze was made by Winston Churchill. General Dwight D. Eisenhower accompanied him, but failed to beat Churchill's record of 2 minutes and 3 seconds. In fact, no one came close to beating that record until 1978, when, while filming Perry Como's Early American Christmas, Perry Como and John Wayne used a relay race system. Perry started and passed a baton off to John Wayne, who stood exactly halfway through the maze. They achieved a record of 1 minute and 40 seconds. Then, in 2007, Queen Elizabeth II got the current world record on a visit to Colonial Williamsburg. Her record, which still stands, 1 minute, 7 seconds. Unfortunately, when the Queen visited, the maze had a key strategic weakness. Unlike other labyrinths, the Williamsburg maze was originally made only of bushes. Some boneheads would just charge through the hedges to get to the middle without really doing the maze. Of course, I must note that the record holders I mentioned did not use this cheating method. They were closely observed. Even Queen Elizabeth's amazing 1 minute and 7 second record has been confirmed. However, these cheaters have no mercy, no sympathy. They destroyed all in their path, and chief among them was Maze Foley. There are no known photographs of Maze Foley, only brief accounts and blurry sightings. It is said he appeared as an old man and crashed through the hedges shouting Foley's catchphrase, "I'm Foley." The efforts of Maze Foley were greatly damaging to the maze. When I first visited the maze, it was already full of holes where reckless cheaters would plunge through to the center. Within a few years, it seemed beyond repair.
We always loved going through the maze. It was really fun to run around and get lost in there. But Maze Foley and the people like him ruined it for us. That's right.
When I returned to the maze in 2017, I was horrified. It had been pruned down to the stems. The maze was dead. Or so we thought. The maze was slowly nurtured back to health, and iron gates were put in to prevent Maze Foley from crashing through again. In fact, when it reopened a few years later, he tried to run through to the middle but ended up having crashed into the metal gate. The maze was, and is, reclaimed for real masters of mazedom like myself. Now, the only thing the government has permitted me to share with you is how to navigate the maze so you can find its secrets for yourself. I've seen estimates claiming it takes the average person 20 minutes to traverse the Hampton Court maze. So we can assume the Williamsburg maze wouldn't take any longer, and probably not a significantly shorter amount of time, especially considering the fact that the holes in the hedges are now closed up. But a maze master like myself can do it in less than 1 minute. Yes, that's right. I believe I can beat the 1 minute and 7-second record of Queen Elizabeth II. And you can too if you follow my lead. The first main method of solving the maze is keeping your right hand on the right side of the maze. If you follow through without moving your hand from the hedge, you'll eventually reach the other end. I don't have any hands, so this method doesn't work for me. However, the infographic should show you how it can take you through the Williamsburg maze. As you can see, it isn't perfect. It takes you along too many detours. If you really want to be a maze master, you have to find the most efficient path through the maze. Luckily for you, I've already found it and memorized it. Here it is. The path is fairly simple. All you have to do is study the map and learn the secrets of the maze as I have. When you do, you can become a maze master like myself. Now all I have left is to beat the record. See you in Williamsburg. Hey everybody, it's me, Snakee Moore, and I'm outside the very maze I was talking about. This place was supposed to be locked up, but I managed to break in so I could show you how to get through the maze. I'm aiming for the world record, so wish me luck.
Good luck, Snakee.
I'm at the viewers, Joey. Alright, here I go! Was that the record? What was my time? 20 seconds? Wow, I did a good job. Heck, I did a great job. Hopefully you guys at home caught all that. If you did, you can come to the maze and try to learn the secrets of the maze for yourself. Only you can find out what really lies in these hedges.
On the next episode of Snakee's World of the Bizarre, host Snakee Moore visits these imprisoned trees. What have they done? Why are they dangerous enough to be caged? Find out next week on Snakee's World of the Bizarre.